It's Gilded Age, and it's all about your wage. We had problems right and left, but this country still progressed.
And the nation was growing by the hour, and people like
Tweed were getting more power.
When you're from the West, you gotta take a test, come to the nation, and have an awesome sensation.
You see, they came for work, but that didn't fly because the people of the nation disagreed with immigration.
This opportunity was called the Golden Door because now these new immigrants would not be poor, and they'd be living life like a rich person buying shoes at a store.
When you come to Ellis Island, you're probably not from Ireland. Conditions were poor, and you ended up sleeping on the floor.
Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham Bell were the pioneers of the Gilded Age. You see, they invented these things that were pretty sweet, and everyone else thought they were pretty neat.
Bell's new phone's the next big thing. Everybody liked it because it had a nice ring.
Thomas Edison had a pretty nifty idea. See, his invention lit up like headlights on a Kia.
It's a Gilded Age, and it's all about your wage. We had problems right and left, but this country still progressed.
And the nation was growing by the hour, and people like
Tweed were getting more power. John D. Rockefeller made it big in oil, kept bringing in the dough because business wasn't slow.
Boss Tweed was a scandalous man. His business plans were successful, but the government soon found out that he was a thief, and he was put behind bars where he would never leave.
Andrew Carnegie invented steel. With no one in his way, he could build the nation. He started making things that were really tall. He could make anything from a bridge to a wall.
The Bessemer process was the way of making steel. Just take out the carbon and add a little O2, and you get a product that supports your house too.
When you were poor, you lived in a tenement, and you had a whole lot of resentment.
When you were forced to live in a slum, your life prospect became pretty glum. Boom, boom, chop, chop.
It's a Gilded Age, and it's all about your wage. We had problems right and left, but this country still progressed.
And the nation was growing by the hour, and people like
Tweed were getting more power. Poulter and Hearst made a lot of money because the newspapers were as sweet as honey.
Boom, 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 boom. Plus, their muckraking style uncovered corruption, which led to huge publishing production.
The nation needed a new way of transportation, even though they had Bell's communications.
They started making railroads across the nation so that they could have a more efficient way of transportation.
George Pullman was the king of railroads, yet his employees were mainly Chinese.
But they went on strike because their wages were tight, and they couldn't even afford a wee little bite. Boom, boom, boom.
The Great Strike of 1877 made the railroad system go off track.
Because the lack in their wage made them have some great rage.
Labor unions were geared toward change.
But they had problems unifying the nation because of racism. Meatpacking problems became a sanitary issue.
And it caused great disease and a whole lot of tissues.
The Pure Food and Drug Act was made,
so meat was never cut with the dirty blade. Boom, boots, ba-doom, ba-doom.
Teddy Roosevelt had a grand idea. He built the Panama Canal.
So far away that it couldn't see ya. Boom, boom, ba-doom, ba-doom.
It was a waterway that helped a lot.
It turned Roosevelt into a big shot. Boom, boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. The Panama Canal was a big success.
And it helped people travel from the east to the west. The Panama Canal is still in use, but over time it's taken a lot of use. Teddy Roosevelt was rebuilding the nation, starting with the square deal.
It stopped anything that wasn't fair and square. It's a Gilded Age, and it's all about your wage. We had problems right and left, but this country still progressed.
And the nation was growing by the hour, and people like
Tweed were getting more power. Segregation and discrimination slammed the nation.
They split up the whites from the blacks.
which threw the nation a little bit off track.
Boom, 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 boom. They call this the Jim Crow's laws. Even though it split up the two races,
They still lived in nice places.
boom, 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 boom. Plessy vs. Ferguson showed that the two races were equal.
And that court trial was never filed.
Boom, 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 boom. Grange laws made states regulate their rails.
And this made farmers happy because now they had freedom when selling their bales.
Boom, boom.
With skyscrapers and mass transit on the rise,
Chicago found out that they had a nice surprise. Boom, boom, boom. The World Fair was being held at their pad.
everyone there was never sad.
Boom, 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 boom.
Until this creepy man started killing ladies.
Everyone disliked him as much as Hades. Boom, 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 boom.
It's a gilded age, and it's all about your wage. We had problems right and left, but this country still progressed.
And the nation was growing by the hour, and people like
Tweed were getting more power. Yeah!
It's the Gilded Age. It's all about your wage.
And then hit stop.
Is it working?
The one in the corner. It's a gilded age, and it's all about your woe. When you come to Ellis Island, you're probably not from our. End up sleeping on the floor.
That's like a perfect blooper.
The nation needed a new way for
Okay.
Segregation and discrimination slam the nation.
Boom boom tap ba-doom ba-doom tap. The Panama Canal was Panama. Segregation and discrimination slammed the nation.
Yeah.